Okay, guys, if I'm being 100% honest, I have not been this frightened about a project in a long time. This project is irking me so badly, and it's on my mind so strong that I put a project to the side. I didn't finish a project because I want to get to this, and it's just been on my mind. I've been wanting to do this for literally over a year. I've been watching the videos, all the videos on them. There's only like 3. And of course, because I'm me, we're gonna do some things. And just because I'm me, I'm gonna share them. So we're doing the braided twist. You've seen this in all the stores. It's by Cheryl Phillips. Her company is Phillips Fiber Art. She has some of the coolest stuff. Anytime you see me do a big circle anything, it's Cheryl Phillips. She's all about the circle. She's got some other stuff too, but when it comes to circle, she's got the game on lock. This braided twist is just amazing. Do not be scared of it. The one on the cover, extremely simple. This is not something you need, and you have the tool right here. This is doable. Once you start digging into the book a little bit, it gets a little bit more complicated. And the one that I want to do does not exist in the book, which just... So I'm working on this series. I keep talking about it, and it's super special to me because it's been a long time coming. And what I want from this is I'd like to take this simple one right here, which is the basic twist runner. It's the one that you see here. And I want to give it a little zhuzh. And this is the zhuzh that I want to do. I want to do part of it pieced and part of it solid. And they call it, they actually have a term for it. They've got some variations in the book. The first variation that I'm taking is the basic variation, which elongates it. So we're going to take the one on the front, which is just 1 circle, 2 circles, 3 circles, 4 circles. We're going to take that and we're going to elongate it because I need mine to come out to these dimensions right here, which is 13.5 by 47.25. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to need 12 circles for this, or 12 half circles for that. But I want to do it with a twist. So they have directions for the 45 twist, which has this side pieced and this side pieced. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot, even for me. I don't want to do that. So I am going to marry the two. And we are going to attempt to do this, which is the Twister 1. In Twister 1A, the A is solid, so this is the A, and the B is pieced. For Twister 2, the A is pieced and the B is solid, so that's the only difference between the two. I had to figure that out. And so we want to do this, but we want to make it longer. So this one here is 34 inches. You can do a placemat that stops at 20 inches. I need the 47. So I've got to figure all that out, and I'm not exactly sure. My preference is to have the pieced side going through the B, not the A. So we're going to do this side. And the instructions for this say, refer to the basic and the 45 twister instructions. What? So that means I've got to figure it out myself. Also, it says, do the basic first before you even try anything else. I don't have that kind of time. So we're going for it. We are going to go for it and we're going to see what happens. I've got the whole day to figure this out and it might take me the whole day. I'm giving myself 1 day to make this project, and this kind of project is really not a whole day kind of thing. First thing I'm going to do is prep this ruler. One thing I know about Cheryl Phillips rulers is that they're incredibly slippery. You need to, for all of her stuff, you got to put something on the sides to make them stay. Otherwise, you'll be slipping and dipping. And this is not the project for slipping and dipping. So I'm going to use this Ruler Magic, which I got from Quilts and Lace, and she says it is the best on the market. Not the spray. I bought the spray too, but we're going to try this one. Ruler Magic, holding rulers and more. The instructions say to put a drop or two on the surface and spread it with a tissue or your finger and allow it to dry until it's clear. I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to start cutting fabric. Am I going to use my finger? It feels wrong. It feels like I should not just use my finger. Even though it says to use your finger, that doesn't feel like the right thing to do. So I'm gonna figure out how to open this, and then I'm gonna just do the things. Give me a second. I'm gonna be jumping all around this book because I'm gonna make this make sense for me. And I want you guys to see how deep this goes. How insane this goes. So I'm looking at this. I know that this is the length that I want. I know that the A section, which is this section up here, is not what I need to be paying attention to. This light blue section is a section that I want to have pieced. There is a hidden wedge underneath here. I don't want to even think about that. Nobody's going to see that wedge. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And I'm just counting to the center line. This is all an illusion. So there are 3 colors that show on each wedge. So 1, 2, 3, then we're going to jump over 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I know that I have 12 colors, and I want this to be in rainbow order of some sort. I know that the tablecloth that it's going to be sitting on is blue and pink. Where do I want to start this repeat? Well, I think that I want to start it with lime green. And we'll work our way down, because what do we know about pink, the other side? Well, it's a color thing. It's a color thing. I want to see more green because pink sits right there next to red, and red is across from green, and it's a whole thing. So I want to see more of that. And I like to usually start my rainbows on something other than red. So that's what we're doing. Now, where I'm going to start is cutting all of the wedges. So I'm going to go on ahead and press these fat quarters out. These are the Dragon's Breath fat quarter colors, and I pulled another Free Spirit color just to fit in. So that way we have 12. It's the same colors that were in the cushions. This will all match because it's all part of one big project. So I'm going to press these, and I'm going to cut my wedges for the 45 first. Then I'll go back and deal with the solids for the A side. So I have just made a copy on my copy machine, nothing special, black and white copy. And this is the one that I wanted. So they do have some inserts in this book. Where are my inserts? Where did I put the inserts? Come on out, inserts. Here are the inserts. And I didn't want to use them because they don't have the insert that I need. I need the super long one. So I just went ahead and made a copy on my little copy machine and wrote in all the colors that I want in the order that I want them in. That's going to be really important to me for this project. And I used, this is the Spiderweb Creative Grids ruler. It is a 45 degree, even though they don't tell you easily. You can't easily find that this is a 45 degree. I would have preferred to use the Dresden 45 degree, but I don't know that I have it, and I didn't look really hard. This was a recent purchase or something. I don't know. It was out. So I just used this, and I cut them all at 7.5 using the 7.5 inch line. And I cut the throwaway fabric. Now they say H is fabric that you will not see. A lot of it will be cut away, which is fine. You won't see this guy. We're using it in black. I don't feel like when they say you won't see it is the time to use your pinks and your lime greens. Just get Just get a dark color, you know. This is fabric that I happen to have that I'm not using, and we are going to use this. So I have 6 of these because each one will need its own throwaway. And remember, these are all just half circles. Don't be scared about them being anything more than that. So we've got our colors and our half circle, and now I think I'm going to lay them out and piece them, maybe. So I am going to move on to the next step, which I've decided is going to be cutting the fabric for the A. So remember, I'm piecing all the B's, and the A's are going to be solid, which is going to give it the pieced kind of serpentine look. And all my A's will be solid. So for that, this is the extended version right here that I'm looking at. I'm going to cut 2 8x8 circles. Oh my goodness, 2 8x8 squares, which is going to serve for this end cap and that part of the end cap. And then I'm going to cut 6 8x14.5 inch rectangles. All that's going to be out of the fabric that is the main fabric of my table runner. I'll show you that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with these 8-inch squares. These are going to be cut facing up, and I'm going to place the A. There's an A right there. I know it looks crazy because I put this stuff all over it, but I guarantee you this is not going to move at all. I'm not concerned about that one iota. I am wondering if it's going to pick up all the lint in the world and just, oh, look, it's sticking to the fabric and be all gross at the whatever, but I am moving this so that the A angles are right on the line. Yeah, this is going to be like my Quilter Select rulers. You won't be nudging. This is on there. This is on there. I'm pleased because this is not a time when I want stuff running away. All right, so this A line is here and this A line is there. And I feel good about that. And now I'm going to use, ooh, that's not what I'm going to use. I was looking for a 28mm. Anytime you want to cut on the inside of a curve, it's sometimes better to use a smaller one. I thought I had an Alpha. I don't know where it is. On the outside, you can go on ahead and use your 45. But on the inside, I'll be using that 28mm. I'm just disappointed that it's a Fiskars and not an Alpha. I really want my Alpha for that, but I'm going to apply some pressure even though I really don't need to. And I'm going to take this cut. I'm cutting with courage because I've never done this pattern before. All right. And that is scrap. But we need this guy here. No, it doesn't look like it picked up a bunch of the fabric, but it will not be moving. I'll tell you that for sure. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. I'm going to turn it. I don't know why. I don't know how these are going to end up. And however they meet is how they meet. But I've turned this one. And I'm going to do the same thing. Place these A's on this line here. Make sure everything is where it should be. Hold it down and cut. All right. Cool thing about this is the end caps will require, actually, how about I take you to a different page? No, let's not look at that one either. Let's look at this one. the cool thing about this, we're going to stretch this a little bit. We're going to add 2 circles, but all these right here are just half circles. There's nothing special. They don't need to be pieced. So that means that I can just grab all of these here. And if I was really feeling adventurous, I could really just stack all these up and cut it. But because I like to cut, and because this is my first time, and accuracy for Cheryl Phillips patterns is always a good idea, I'm going to take my time and cut these properly. But I believe these are all just like this. And we're going to put just like this, and we're just going to cut around the outside. So for this, the bottom of page 6, where it says half circles, cut here. They actually have this with the wrong side of the fabric facing up. I don't know why. I don't know if there's anything special about that, but I'm going to be sure to do that because it says wrong side. So we are going to face the fabric the wrong side up. It seems like it would be perfectly symmetrical, but we are going to follow these directions. And I have 6 of these rectangles here. These are just the plain rectangles. I'm going to pull it closest to my body. I should really put this on an angle just to make it a little easier for me. And I'm going to put these so that it's at the edge of the fabric. I'm going to hold her down, and I'm going to cut the edge out. Just cut around it. All right. We got one. We've got one. I'm loving this colorway. It's going to be very interesting to see how these butt up against one another. It's not my business how it's going to fall or lay, but interesting. It's very, very interesting. Or it will be like this. Huh. We're going to get what we get, and we're not going to throw a fit. Now that I have my curved pieces all cut out, not all the curved pieces, let's start off with the piecing of this bad boy. So on the 45 twist, I know that I'm working with the B section. So it tells me that I start with an H, which is the hidden fabric. Then I have color fabric, color fabric, color fabric, color 1, color 2, color 3. And because I'm working with a rainbow, I am going to look at all the colors that I have, and I'm going to put them in an order. And I'm just going to start piecing so that I don't get super confused. So I'm going to grab my hidden fabric, my yellow, a green, and a dark green. And I'm going to make that half. And then I'm going to go on ahead and do the second half, which is the teal, the blue, and the dark purple, which all happens right here at the top. I'm just going to piece that and then label it. Let's do a half circle. So this is going to be my hidden fabric right here. That's hidden. We're just making half circles. This whole thing is made from half circles. Do not be intimidated by it. All we're doing is piecing a half circle so that we can cut it nice and smooth and sew it together. That's all we're doing. Nothing intimidating about putting some wedges together and sewing them together. This is not difficult. We're not intimidated by this. So here's our half circle. That's our first half circle. And remember that black, we're not going to see that. So here are my colors. Bam. Let's build the other side of colors. These are going to scoot up because you're going to match a pieced half circle with a solid or your other main half circle for this particular one, because we're doing the twister, which is going to make it look like it's twisting down. So it will get matched with one of these bad boys here. Okay. So the next half circle that I'm going to build is going to start down here. And we are going to start with a color. It's going to go that color. Then we'll go to the blue. And then we'll do a purple. And then we will do the black down here, which will be hidden, so you won't even see that. In order for us not to get confused, why don't we just sew this stuff together so that we can just go nice and slowly and label these. There are some labels in here. You can make a copy of them and cut them out, up to you, or you can write on them with your friction pen, which is probably what I'm going to do. But let's just go nice and slow and piece this, and then we'll worry about the next set and then the next set after that. Also, interesting enough, this last set is going to repeat exactly what you see here. The middle will be different, but the top and the bottom, because we're going in a color order, will be the exact same. All right, here is our half circle, and we're going to sew these together. I'm going to take the black and sit it on top of this yellow, and I'm going to sew down on that side. We're just going to match up this fabric. We're going to use our finger tools and just scratch it into place. I'm just taking this black and yellow fabric here, blue, and we are going to place it right there and drop that down and just sew. I'm going to give it a little back stitch. All right, so we've sewn them together, and now we are going to do my favorite thing when it comes to triangles and whatnot, and all the things, I guess, is press these seams open. Not really my favorite thing to do, but we're doing it. We are going to press these bad boys open. That's hot. And the same thing with this pair. And I'm not going to be worried about anything happening back here if they don't line up. This one does not. This one does. It's right on the money. And now we are going to join those pair together the way that they're supposed to be joined. So we're going to flip these over. And they want you to start sewing these 1/4 inch from the center. They want you to join it 1/4 inch down. So I'm going to grab a ruler and mark that really quickly. So I grabbed my favorite Creative Grids ruler and I just nudge this all the way up till this hits the intersection. And I'm just going to put a mark right there because that's where they want us to start sewing. Right there. Drop your needle right there, back stitch, and go. Again, I just took this and I laid this 1/4 inch line on here, and I just nudged it up all the way until I hit that intersection right there. And that is where we are going to start. We're going to drop our needle right there and then backstitch. Now that we have sewn this together, we are going to press the seam open too. Open, open, open. You can do this piecing in your sleep. You've got this. This is not rocket science. Everything is being pressed open, 1/4 inch seams. You got this. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah, it's going to try to have some bulk up there, but we know what to do. We know how to handle that. Put a little heat on it. If necessary, we'll put a little water, a little steam on it. Okay. Now that is hot. That's cool. And it feels very flat. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take this to the ironing board and really give it a little something, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, with the right side of the fabric facing up, I'm going to grab this tool, our braided twist tool, and I'm going to line this B side up with this side here. I'm going to just twist it around. And I'm going to push it up to about right here because we want this to be parallel. So the fleece line should be running parallel to that center line. And I'm going to push this all the way up until the fleece line is about 1/8 of an inch below that center line. So it's telling me to match this seam, the center seam, right here to the dashed line. This intersecting line right here, there's some things that happen right here. There's this line and this line. The fleece line right here should be a little bit lower, but if you just make this one parallel to the B, put that line right on that B, and then put this dashed line right on that center line, you'll be cooking with gas. I think we'll be just fine. And now I'm going to take this center cut, all this right here, got to go. Now, because this is an end cap piece, we've got to take out this inside right here. We only have to do this 2 times, so we are just going to cut with courage. 45 for the win. I don't know what kind of, I don't know, guys. That was terrible. I'm just going to put that in the trash can because that was frightening. All right, so we've cut that right out. No issues with the 45, even though I know a 28 should have been better, but whatever. Now it wants me to lift this a little bit and mark where the center line is. However, I've got this super sticky ruler now. It's like, what are you talking about? Lift it up a little bit. Yeah, well, we will just have to fold this in half and get center because that is not working. So I took my tool, lined it up to where we just cut everything. And I marked it, I marked center, because all that folding is not going to work with this very strange angle, but don't worry, it will be fine. This is your scrap piece. You can toss it into your scrap bin. We're going to put this to the side for a second. Actually, now let's just take care of business. Okay, I'm trying to make heads or tails of page number 17, and I can't do it. And that could be because, you know, who knows? It's me. I'm sure it is. But I know that if I pinch this in half here, there we go. I can see that is the center mark, and I'm betting that bad boy probably goes right about here. I'm betting that if I line them up, that's probably where that is supposed to go. But I know what we're after. We're after just getting this inset in there. So what I'm going to do is get rid of these dog ears. It's the first thing I'm going to do. I've got these little dog ears sticking out. We are going to get rid of them. Dog ears gone. Don't even want to think about those anymore. I'm going to grab an Elmer's glue stick. And I'm going to grab, these are by, I can't say the name, Krebschabacher, Huber, I don't know. I'll link it. These are these tips that you've been seeing everywhere. And they are supposed to fit these glue sticks. I'm just going to take this guy and stick it down on there, and it's on there really well. I really want it to go all the way down. There it is. It popped. Did you guys hear it? There it is. And then I'm just going to twist this up, because again, guys, I'm going rogue. I get the feeling that I know what I'm after, and so we're going to try to get it. I'm going to take a little bit of this glue stick, and I'm just going to put it here on the edge of this fabric. We're just going to put a little bit here on the edge of the fabric. It's washable. Don't freak out. We'll be fine. And I'm just going to run a little bit along the edge so that I can get this fabric to stick. Yep, she's going rogue. Again, washable glue stick. All right, and then the top just pops on, that way you don't have to worry about it. Now again, this is what you're looking for right there. And I know it, and that's what I'm going for. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put this just like this. And I'm going to give it a little press. And then I'm just going to walk this around. Now this is biased, so don't be scared to give it a little something. You're going to stretch it till it till it just goes all the way around and sits in there the way you want. I might put one pin right here, but I'm just going to walk it all the way around, right sides together. And then I'm going to sew it at 1/4 inch. I'm just going to take my time, because I know this is the way that this is supposed to go. Now I have all the sew line, everything, and it's actually, it was my favorite before I realized that, you know what, this is just better. Elmer's holds better. It holds faster. It really is better in my opinion. It holds stronger. I'm here for it. So I'm just going to walk this bad boy right around that until it's all the way over. I know that there's going to be some overhang. We don't care. So this is a game changer. I tell you, this Elmer's glue works better than that sew line, and I've just invested in all those little itty bitty things, and this is actually 20 times better. It held, it stayed, and it did it very quickly. And yep, I just got right in there, and I'm going to press. It says to press toward this piece here, and that looks like what I'm supposed to have. And so I'm not going to worry about what was supposed to line up with what. Nope, I'm not doing any of that. We're going to press this toward this direction. We're going to do it 2 times because we need 2 end caps, and I feel comfortable with it. So it says to press toward that color. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I think we'll be fine. I dropped my needle down. I left the gap. I left the gap opening. I feel like that was the right thing to do. And this looks pretty good. There we go. She's smooth. Of course, I'm going to have to put a little water, just a smidge of glue out there, but that's because I wasn't being super careful. This lines up straight. Now I'm going to flip this wrong side up, and this will tell if I am close. This curved stitching should go on the curved stitching line, and it looks like it does. Perfect. We are just gonna zhuzh it a little bit. And it looks like, oh, there's a center line that's on center. It's sitting on the curved line. I've just got to move this a little bit because this thing is sticking to the fabric. But I think we are good to go. I'm going to just zhuzh and play with this just a little bit. Make sure this is on center. And then I'm going to cut this bad boy out, just the outside. And I'm going right there. All right. So I played with it a little bit. I feel good about where it's sitting. And I'm just going to cut the outside of this. And there we have an end cap. What? And then everything else should be cooking with gas because the rest of it is really just a bunch of half square, half circles. Just a bunch of half circles. We only have one end cap piece that's pieced. The rest of everything else will be using that that arc there. Everything else will be that. And I'm just going to take these dog ears off because we don't need them. And now they're gone. And now we will place this tool. We'll put the center mark on center, and we will align this to the edges. Oh my goodness. This yeah, with this backing, it does remind me of a Quilter Select because you will not be moving it a bunch at all. All right, that feels good. And then I'm just going to take this cut around the outside of this. This is a big piece of fabric. And yes, I have turning mats, but I don't think I have one that's larger than 12 or 13 inches. So it's not going to be big enough. So this bad boy will go this way, and then it will kiss this one right here. We will have a full one that goes underneath this. Interesting where that lines up. Apparently that's where that was cut, and that works out perfectly in regards to the color flow. I don't know that the same thing is going to happen at the bottom, and I'm not going to stress out about it. But this is how this is going, and it's so cool. It's so pretty. I feel very good about this thus far. Now let's just get all of the top pieced, and then we'll worry about the backing. I haven't decided about how fussy I'm going to be about the backing, although you guys have met me before, so we might be in for a double-sided table runner. I haven't decided yet, but I think we both know what's going to happen here. So if you've got a pieced one right there, just know that this will go underneath here like this. And oh yeah, loving it. Totally entertained. Totally entertained. Okay, let's go to the next piece. And I'm going to just leave that with that because there's such continuity there. We're going to say that that's a pair, and we'll put that to the side. I've just built the teal, so that one finishes. The next one is going to be, this is hidden. So the next color is going to be this purple. So this one is going to be our next half circle that we need. And then the one after that is going to be a, what is it? It's going to be this color. Then this one. And then this one. And then a black. Okay. So these are our next two half circles. This is fun. It got fun just a minute ago. Once that pieced part worked out, now I'm having a good time. I can't wait to see what this looks like when I finish. If it looks like what I thought it was going to look like in my head. All right. We are going to put the pairs together and sew them. So for this, it's very simple. They are all just half circle. They're just half circles. That's all they are. Very, very simple. They are just half circles. And I've gotten down here to this part right here. And this part and the very top are just repeats of one another. Because of the way that I'm doing this, I know that both sides are pieced in this one, but we're only piecing one side, which is the B side. And so everything that is dark is just going to be one straight piece of fabric, no frills. So this part, again, like I said, is a duplicate of the one at the top. And we are there now. So we're just going to lay it out in a half circle way. These black pieces, like I told you, are just throwaway fabric. They're scrap fabric. You won't be able to see them. There's one that is actually a scrap. And then the other ones, I should say, that you just won't be able to see it. It'll still be in the half circle, but for the one that's pieced, you'll actually be cutting that away. Each of these half square, I should say, yeah, each of these half circles has 4 pieces to it. Perfect. And then the other one is going to be the opposite. It's going to have this black piece here. Then it's going to have the purple here. Then it will have the blue here. And then actually the blue and then the teal. Blue and then the teal. And now you just sew these together in pairs, right sides together. And we're going to use our finger tool and just line them up. That looks good. And we'll do the same thing, right sides together. Just line them up. Okay. The two end caps are actually identical, but mine are just, they look different because I've chosen a different colorway. But in regards to where the black is going to go, where the hidden piece is going to go, it's the same. So I am going to first cut these little dog ears off. We just don't need any distraction. Dog ears are gone. We are going to take this, make sure that your fabric is the right sides facing up. There's a line here that says B as in boy, and then there's a line here that says fleece. There's also a dotted line, your 1/4 inch line, that intersects the center right here. I'm going to take that line that intersects and put it on the line. So I have my B lined up with the edge of the fabric. The fleece line is running parallel, but just a little bit towards my belly button. And this intersection right here where that dotted line is, I'm going to lay that on the line. So I'm going to push this up just a little bit, do a little adjusting. The fleece line is laying not quite 1/4 inch toward my belly button, but it's definitely not on the line. But this little intersection right here is on that center line. Now I'm going to take a really funky, wonky inside cut right here. Cut with courage. Bam. Nice. Now it says to mark where this center line is, even though we are really not going to, we're going to use my technique on this, and we're really not going to be too concerned about where that center is. But it does say to lift up your ruler and just make a little mark right there. We'll do it for funsies, but we're not going to be too concerned about that. This is a scrap. It is a sizable scrap. You can put it in your scrap bucket. Now you're going to go find your circle. This is not a 1/4 circle, but you know, it's a partial circle. And in theory, all you want to do is get this set in right here, and you want this to remain parallel. Now she's got some directions over there and they are lovely, I'm sure, but I can figure them out, so that's fine. I do know how to inset a circle though, and I'm going to show you the best way to do it without having to worry about pinning, you know, marking this here and marking that there and all the things. I've got some good old Elmer's glue. It has one of those 3D printed tops on it to make sure to keep the glue nice and so it doesn't dry out. We're going to just put out a little bit of it. This glue works so well. This is washable, disappearing purple glue. I'm going to just turn the back up just a smidge, and I'm just going to dot it all on the 1/4 inch. I'm just dotting this just a little bit. I'm going to squeeze up a little bit and dot a little bit. You can dot, you can pull, but be careful, you're working with bias. I have definitely put a little starch on this, but I am just running it along this edge here. And I'm working on the bottom of this fabric on the B-piece right side up. And I'm just a little bit will do you. This stuff is actually amazing. This school glue. Yes, I have the sew line, but if I'm being 100% honest, this kicks sew line's tail every way you can. Okay, then I'm going to just put the top back on. Pop, pop. Now, the first thing that's important is that you line this up. So we're going to go right sides together. And I am lining this up. This is the most important thing, is just to line that first one up so that this is running parallel. And then I'm just going to press it and hold it just for a few seconds. Press it in there and hold it. And then I'm just going to walk this around. I'm going to take my time and do it. Kind of. Just press it. You can do this with your iron if you'd like. It's up to you. But I'm just walking this around and smoothing it out. I'm not being overly fussy, but I am taking my time. And I'm lining up the edges the best I can. And don't worry, because we will be cutting away at this. So, yes, there are instructions about, oh, fold it and find center and all that. You guys don't see me do curves often because I don't always do curves, but this is one of the best ways to do curves, in my opinion. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to worry about stretching your fabric and all that kind of stuff. Just walk it around. I'm just making sure that the edges are together and walking it around until I get to the edge. And that's that. You guys are like, what? Yeah, that's that. You guys watched me do it. I'm sure my head was all in the way and there were things in the way, but just trust me. Let's take it to the sewing machine. Just in case you're wondering, yes, I can lift it up. I can walk my fingers around some more. This glue works really well. Okay, we're going to sew with this bad boy on the bottom. So let's get to it. One of the best things that was ever taught to me was that it does not matter what is in front. Behind the needle or whatever. As long as whatever's in front of the needle is smooth, you don't have to worry about it. So we are just going to do like we usually do. We're going to take our time, smooth that out, and we are going to go and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way around. I don't even think that took 60 seconds. I mean, I guess the whole thing probably did, but other than that, no. And look, we've just sewn 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And we are going to press this with this going toward me. It's gonna go toward me, toward this weird shape. See how this shape just goes off into no man's land? Don't worry about it. That's not your business. Just let it do what it's gonna do. I'm just giving it some encouragement. And we will flip this guy over. And that is that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, this is what we have. We've got our circle inset into there, and it's beautiful. We don't have a thing to worry about. We're going to flip it on the back. It looks good. We are going to grab our ruler and put it this direction so you can see that we have the wrong side facing up. I'm going to place this center line up here on this center line, and then I'm going to bring it down until the center line and this left hand side. So you see how those stitches are directly on that line, and this is right here. This is what we want. I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit under here at the bottom. Oh, come on, smooth out a little bit. There we go. That's some sewing right there, you guys. If you've ever wondered if I've gotten any better at sewing, I think this is it. This is it. Hopefully you can see that the dotted line is right on my stitch line. The center line is directly on that center line, and everything that's happening over here is fine. We just want to make sure that this is lined up and that's lined up. And I'm just going to take that cut. This project is actually a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what it looks like when I'm done. I hope that I just absolutely love it. All right, and that's our scraps. And now we have our end cap side. And this will go like this. I'm going to lay this out on my ironing board so that you guys can kind of see what it looks like and kind of see where we're going. This just looks so cool to me. It is all the things. I am very excited about it. It is an amazing table runner, and yeah, I'm feeling very, very good about the way that this is moving. So now we have just got to make them the half circle sandwiches that we need to make them, but this is the layout. So now we know that this looks good, and we're cooking with gas. I just need to figure out what the backing fabric is going to be. So I've pulled out all the fabrics that I can use on the back of this. And I'm just doing too much as usual. These here, you know, it's kind of a non-directional thing. Here, these are obviously directional, and I get very annoyed when people do not use these properly. So then I was thinking, do I have enough to cut it this direction so that the teapots are facing people on the other side? But if these actually end up as the end caps, actually they don't have to end up as the end cap. I can make this, I can control this. But I think it would be kind of cool if you were sitting on either side of the table. Ugh, I get on my nerves so bad, guys. So I have decided on these two fabrics, and this one is directional. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to handle that. Why not, right? I thought this was going to be super duper simple, but yeah, right. It's me. This is going to be our fabric C, and this is going to be our fabric D as in dog. And we're just going to do it. We're going to make it happen. Yes, I'm going to have to do a little piecing, but not a whole bunch of piecing, so we should be okay. And I'm going to show you guys how I handle directional fabric. Now, in theory, a table runner runs across the table this way. The way that my table will be set, it will be running this way. Somebody will be on that side. Somebody will be on this side. I would like the cups facing this way, the cups facing that way. We'll see. We'll see if I can make that happen, but I think I can. I think I can handle it. So let's do it. This is going to be our C. I'm going to cut I'm going to cut 3 8.5-inch strips. 8-inch strips, not 8.5. I'm going to cut 3 8-inch strips. We're basically doing the same thing we did for the front, except for less piecing. A little less piecing. Not a lot less, but a little bit. Okay, so we just do 8 inches here. This is the last little bit. And we are going to take off the selvage. And I'm not worried about doing all that ironing and whatnot just yet, because I can iron it when they are smaller pieces. And we are going to cut this down to 14.5. And we will do the exact same thing with the other pieces. But we're going to do an end cap piece. 2. That's going to be our scrap. And I have got a couple of scrap pieces right here. These pieces do not measure 14.5. They're just about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches too short. But we can cut these into 8 by 8 squares. Another scrap, and we will do another scrap. Perfect. Now we have what we need for, what is that? Where's that? That's a scrap. This is 8 by 8. And then we have our 6 8 by 14.5 pieces. So I have 3/4 of a yard here, I think. I think I've got just about 3/4 of a yard here. And the selvage is folded in half. The fold is over here near my belly button. The selvage is over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to just take all this selvage off. Now I know that I've got 4 layers of fabric here, and I need 6 cuts. So I'm going to just put this here on the 8-inch mark, and I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to turn this way and just cut off. It's not necessary for me to really get this exact, but we want to make sure that we have at least 14.5 inches. And we are going to do 14.5 inches. Perfect. And that's 4 right there. And I just need 6. So I'll do another 2. I'm just going to go on ahead and do it. I know I'm going to get 4 if I do it this way, but I'll take it. I'll take the 4. I'm going to put this on 8 here. And I'm going to cut this. I still haven't changed that blade. If you've been following along, I need to figure out exactly what blade that is and tell everybody, because that blade has been more than impressive. I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to fold this in half and do another 14.5 inches. And this is how I am handling the fact that I kind of want these, not kind of, I'm making them the direction that I want them to be. So all this can go in your stash. So first we're going to cut A, which not really too worried about. I'm going to just keep that right sides up. Not worried about anything in regards to that, but again, right sides up. We are going to find A. And I'm going to put that A there, and we are going to walk it down until A is both on the bottom line lined up and the top. Yep, looks like A is hitting both of these pretty good. And so we're just going to take an outer curve. And again, that's both A and that's fine. And we'll do that one more time with the second one. And we will take a nice cut here. And these are scraps. So for my V fabric, I want the center line to be here. If you're sitting on this side of the table, I want you to be looking at the cups. If you're sitting on that side of the table, I want you to be able to look at the cups. That might be insane. You guys have met me before. So for this first one, I am being sure that this is facing this direction. The cups are facing up, And I am going to place this on line B as in boy at the top corner there. And we are going to find B as in boy over here. Give me just 1 second. It's great when the tool is, you know, right side up. There we go. And now this makes sense. All is right with the world. So we're just placing that corner in the corner there. There we go. And this B here, we are going to cut the inside of this out. And we're going nice and slow. And that's fine. Cool thing is these pieces are absolutely identical. I was just looking at it, and when it goes into the bottom slot, it will be going like this, so I don't have to think about anything. I can just cut another piece the exact same way that I did before. I'm going to just fold this at the top. Don't worry about the bottom. And we're going to mark center here. And then I'm going to fold this just like this. And I'm going to mark center there. And then I'm going to pin these right sides together. Fold this guy in half. And we're going to mark it with our finger press. Same thing with this one, finger press. I'm going to put them together, just like that. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to pin. Then you can put this side over here, and you can also pin. I think I'm going to do a little bit of gluing. You guys know how I do. I'm just going to glue this down all the way around and glue the same thing on the other side and just glue that. Now after this, we are going to flip it over so the wrong side is up. We are going to make sure the right side is here. We're going to place this on this curved stitching line. The stitching is going to go on the stitching. And it looks good. It's directly on the stitching I still have. I can make this a little more parallel, I think. And that's right on the tip, and this is right here, and I'm going to take my cut around the outside. And remember, this is the backing fabric, so we are going to get what we get, and we are not going to throw a fit. If the back comes out pretty, then we will be ecstatic. If the back comes out not pretty, we are not going to have a fit. We will not. All right, do the same exact thing for the other ones. And then for all of these other rectangles, we are just going to probably stack them up. Make sure that they are on the ends of the fabric here, the edges, and just take all of our cuts. We just need a bunch of half circles. Now we have all of our pieces cut. We have our pieced pieces, and then we have our regular half circles. There are tons of them. That's going to be a cute backing. I'm really pleased with that. Let's just hope I don't mess it up from here. So I'm grabbing, this is the very first of the front. This is the very first one that we pieced from the front. And it is going to go this way and this way. And I'm going to fold this in half to find the center. So I'm folding this in half to find center, and I'm just going to finger press it. So I'm going to put these right sides together. I have found the center. We'll put them right sides together. And the center is at that seam. Okay. Just making sure, I'm just trying to get this bad boy lined right up. Perfect. I'm gonna pin here. And that looks pretty good. So yeah, this is fine. This is lined up. I'm going to sew down. I'm going to start right here where the stitching is, 1/4 of an inch in. And I'm going to sew down. I'm going to be sure to back stitch quite a bit here. And I'll probably do a little back stitching here because there'll be some stress on it up here. Now we've done that, and they want me to clip, and this is already clipped, so I'm just going to clip in on this solid fabric that is not clipped, because the other part is, because we started backwards so far. So I'm just going to look for between these two and just make a little clip there. And there we have it. It's clipped. I need to do that 3 more times, and then we will press the seams open. Let's go on ahead and press this open while we're here. It's a little bulk at the tip there, as expected, but I think it'll be all right. That is now pressed open, and this is overlapping just like it said it would, and I think we look pretty good. Okay, now what do? We need to do this 3 more times and get everything, you know, together, all the end caps together. So now we just need to get fleece, and you need a fleece semicircle for every semicircle. I am putting these together, right sides together, so the bumpy part is touching my hand, because this tool, it did just what I thought it was going to do. It picked up all the lint and stuff. It's still not sliding, and I still can see through it, but it's got like it looks gross, kind of. You know what I mean? Like it's got that gluey kind of feeling. But honestly, I could care less because it's not slipping and sliding, and that's what I don't want it to do. Those little dots and things may be pristine, but this has not slid not one time. So there we go. I'm lining this up on the fleece mark. It says fleece there. The fold is up here at the top. And I'm just going to put this down and ride this curve. And there we go. And this is scrap. And our last one, again, fold it toward you. Line up those edges, crease it. Put it on the fleece marks. And just take out the curve. And there we are. all done. Now I need to take these circles here and put them right sides together and then stitch around the outside. So my end caps, in theory, the back end caps are identical. It just depends upon where you place them. So we're going to take these end caps. It doesn't matter which one is which because the back ones are identical. And we are going to put them right sides together, pin them, and we're going to stitch a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. We are going to back stitch where we start and stop. I'm just throwing pins in here any way I can. So we've got the thing all sewn together, the 2 end caps. Now I've just put this fusible fleece and I've tucked it underneath this little guy here, and I'm making sure that it's not hitting the seam line at all anywhere, and that side looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and fuse that with my iron. So we cut our fleece, so we have these nice round templates, and because we're doing a reversible runner, we have to figure out which one of these goes with the front. So I figured out that A goes with D. I mean, I didn't figure it out. It's in the pattern for the reversible, and that is found on page 27. It'll tell you how to do your reversible. And don't forget, you do have to piece one side of your reversible. We've done all that. But all the A slices are going to go with all the D slices. The end caps are just going to go to the end caps. That one wasn't difficult because my end caps are somewhat identical. So here, this is my A fabric or B fabric. No, this is my A fabric. And I have it paired with the D fabric, which is the back. Now for the D fabric, I had to be sure to cut with the cups facing away from me. When I cut the other way, it didn't give me what I was going for because, again, my table runner is going to run this way. If you're sitting on that side of the table, I want you to be able to see the cups. That was important to me. And in order to do that, I had to turn the fabric so that the cups were away. If you do it the other way, it does not work out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a little bit of a press. I'm going to give this a little bit of a press. This is a little bit smaller than these two, and we are just going to sew around. We're going to put them right sides together and just sew around the outside with a 1/4 inch seam. So I went ahead and sewed around here, easy peasy, back stitch because we're going to be tugging on this a little bit, and I've got a nice 1/4 inch seam all the way around. Now I'm going to take this with the fusible side toward the front. The fusible side goes on the front panel, and I'm going to place it so that the curve sits right on the inside of those lines. but it doesn't, it sits close to them, but it doesn't go over, it does not touch the lines. You just want it so that it sits right in front of them. And then I'm going to fuse this down with my iron. Yep, that's sitting just in front right here. You can see it, and then it kind of goes out that way. Not a problem. Fuse this down with my iron. So for this, I've got it placed right where I want it. It's on the front side. None of the stitches are being covered by this. I have my iron on medium heat. Be careful with this because this is fleece, and so you could just burn it. And I'm just giving it a little touch here just to kind of warm it up. I have a pressing sheet here, but I just give it a little something here just so that it somewhat sticks so that I can flip it over. And I know it's in place. And now I'm just going to hold this on here. I could probably do high heat, but I'm scared to. So I just going ahead and do about 10-15 seconds overlapping. And I haven't really had an issue. I could have, if I felt like turning on my heat press, this could have been done in a few seconds, which is why I bought the heat press, but everybody doesn't have one, and so we will just do it this way. And I'm just getting this side of the fabric nice and hot. The key to this is you get it hot, but then you've got to let it cool. And I've got my big giant clapper right there. And because it's so heavy, it works really great with this kind of stuff. And I'll just put this big clapper on here and let it chill out for a little bit until it cools. And then after it cools, I'll test it. I'll just try to see if I can pull it away at the edges here. Right here, I'm still having a little trouble. So I'm going to see what I can do there. Everything else is pretty good. All right, it is time to turn these puppies. So I'm just going to reach in here and turn it inside out. No need to clip the edges or anything. These are nice, round, large curves. If it was tighter, one might need to clip the edges a bit. All right. And per usual, we're going to need to press, 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 and make sure these are nice and flat. And I'm going to run my good old whatever this thing is called. We're going to run it in my point turner in here so that we press out all of the circle and make it nice and pretty. And once I've got it nice and pretty, I will be using my iron to just press this and make it nice and flat. I don't want to see any of that white on the other side. The other side is the front, and so I want to be sure that I press it so that no white will be showing. That is the most important thing to me. I don't care what's happening on the back, but I don't want it showing on the front. This feels like a nice frisbee. And then we are going to edge stitch. So we're just going to pull this up and stitch 1/8 down here. Just 1/8 down to close it up. Well, now that we've got that edge stitched, it looks pretty good. I need to clip those, but anyway, it's edge stitched down here and edge stitched there. It is not perfectly straight. This one is much straighter. Nonetheless, we're not going to worry about it. Put that to the side. Do the same thing with these guys. They need to be turned and edge stitched. You don't have to clip these. It's a big, gentle curve. We should be fine. We just want to turn them inside out and give them a nice press. And again, I really don't want to see any of this white on this side, so I'm just going to be careful about how I am manipulating this. I have my rounded part pushing against the top. So in here, I'm pushing the rounded part against the colorful, the pieced part, not the white. So I'm just kind of working my way around the purple, the black, not that white, because I really want that white to stay tucked under. And I'm going to give it some heat and water encouragement so that it stays where I want it to stay. And then I will just do the same thing and just edge stitch down here, close it up. I like it. It looks good. We're not seeing any white poking out from back here. I feel good about this. So now we have all these guys here, and they've been turned and edge stitched, and they look great. I'm just going to go in and make sure that these are all clipped right here in the center, because we want them to be able to open and twist freely. And yes, we just edge stitched 1/8 away, but we're clipping right through those. We are clipping right through. I'm going to find the center right here. And then I'm going to clip 1/4 inch in. And yes, I'm guessing on some of these because I quilt every day, all day. I should be able to clip 1/4 inch, right, guys? I should know 1/4 when I see it. So the ones that don't have the seams that come together in the middle, I find the middle just by putting these together in half. I'm giving them a little finger press there. And I'm just going in and I'm clipping it 1/4. If you don't feel super secure and you want to do some precision piecing and sewing and whatnot, I get it. Go ahead and measure 1/4 inch from the bottom. Oh my goodness, it is time to lay it out again. Now, I can't remember who goes where, and I didn't label them because then I would have had to keep up with the labels and all that. So I'm going to lay them out, all of it, again, and then remove half of it, work on half of it, and then put that other half back in. we'll keep that in order. So let's lay it out again. Now that we have it all laid out, I'm going to go ahead and label. So these are going to be my B's, all the striped piecing, and then the A's will be the solids. And I think that's going to help for this next step because we've got to lay it out kind of funky. This is going to be our layout. So we need to know all the A's will be on one side when we sew it and all the B's will be on the other. And we need to, and because mine have to be in this specific order, I've got to label in a good way. So let me do that right now. So the way that I labeled them is simply B1, jump down here to B2, B3, B4, and all you need is 4 half circles on each side. And then the other ones are A1, A2, A3, A4, and those will go on the other side when it's time. I'm going to go on ahead and clip all of these to the circle so that I can be sure not to mess this up. Okay, now I'm going to pull all the A's. This is A4, A3, A2, and A1. So we've pulled out all of the A's, and this is what it looks like when that happens. I know that this end cap is supposed to be flipped upside down, so we're going to flip that over. And then I'm going to start working from this side. Now I'm working from the book. And this is the image that I'm using right here because it's got that longer version and it just tells you which one should be up and which one should be down. So this is the top and it's saying that this first one should be on top. So this is going to be one. It should be facing down. This next one should be on top of it, but it should be facing up. So we're going to see the hidden here. Then the next one, this is number 3. It's going to go on top and it's facing down. Then number 4 is going to be facing up with the hidden here. And everything goes on top. So this was on top of that one. This is on top, on top, on top, and on top. And now we will pin these together. And pinning is actually kind of fun for this. I don't know why. But you're going to find that snip that you made and you're going to line this up with it. And I'm going to put a pin right here with this first clip first. So where that clip is, that's where I'm putting the end piece. And you know I pin toward the seam. So that first one is right there. And then we're just going to straighten it out. I think I'm going to put 3 pins in each piece. And I'm going to put one right here. Then we'll put one right here in the middle. Then we'll do the same thing with this next piece. I'm just going to move that one out the way. And I'm going to find that. Perfect. This is so strange. I did not initially do this properly, because I thought I knew what I was doing. But it makes sense in my brain now that I have this all laid out. I'm glad that you guys are getting a chance to see it this way. Because on the other videos, some of them all have backing that is the same. Some, you know, you can't really see the difference between all of the front and back and all that kind of stuff. So I think this is great because we can really see the difference. And then this last one will just lay on top. Okay. Now I don't need these labeled any longer. Those labels really helped me in those few little moments that we use them. So I'm happy to have them. I'm grabbing this and I'm pulling it out of the way. And I'm going to clip it. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one here. It is completely out of my way. Now I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch right down this line. So we've made it through. This has all been sewn down. Now I got to do the other side. So we are going to put this end cap down. And A1 is going to be facing, so this end cap is facing up. And this is going to be facing down. So that's going to be facing this way. And this goes on top here. And then we're going to grab A2. And they want this one facing up. And it's going to go under this guy here. Then we've got A3. And obviously, just follow the pattern. And that's going to be that way. And then this last one here, I'm assuming is going to be facing up. Like that. It's going to be that way. And then this end cap here is going under. Now, that's all fine and dandy. However, who's pinning that direction? I'm not. So how am I going to fix that? I'm going to just roll this whole thing up like this. I've rotated this all around and I've got this the way that it's supposed to be. And now we're just going to do the exact same thing. We are going to find the clip right here and we're going to line this up with it. And that'll be perfect. Now, I've got all this pinned and I've got to sew down this line. And in order to get to it easier, I'm just going to pull this out the way. I'm just going to pull it out the way and we're going to expose this inside here. And I'm going to sew just like this, straight down. I'm going to move this as I need to, just so that I can get to this line here. So now both sides have been sewn and they are just sitting here. And I believe now comes the twist part where this all kind of comes together and starts to make some sense. So the first twist happens right here, and that's one. Now don't worry about it not laying flat. We're going to press it into submission and tug on it a little bit. The next one is going to be these two. The next one will be these three here. Then we're going to do it one more time. We're going to flip everything one more time here until we can get it looking like how it's supposed to look. There we go. There we go. There it is. There it is right there. Okay. And they say don't worry if it's not flat, although this is laying pretty good actually. And there we have a gorgeous, gorgeous placemat. I'm going to give it a little zhuzhing, as you know I do. And I'm going to straighten it out. And check out all these clips and tips and things here. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to stick these down. Okay. So this is the back of the table runner. I'm going to flip it one more time. Now, to finish it, they suggest that you lift these up here and put some fusible, double-sided fusible there, which has a permanent bond. But you've met me before, and there's no way that I'm going through half fusing it, pulling the papers and all that. Instead, I'm going to use my favorite of all time, the fabric fuse. I have so many bottles of this stuff, guys. I have the nozzles like ripped off at various angles. I love this stuff. This is permanent. So once you do it, you've done it. And so I'm just going to go around the edge, and then we will just drag some of that inward. And I'm not doing a whole bunch of it, just enough. Because you don't need a whole bunch. And I'm going to put that down and just let it do its thing. It will actually work very, very quickly. I've done these already, and these are down. These are down. So that is that. And now we have a finished table runner. I think it came out absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I want to make so many more of these. It's the way that they come together is not difficult. I mean, I'm sure that I made some parts of it seem like it was difficult, but it really isn't. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of half circles. Label them, put them together, sew down one side, sew down the other side, twist them, and bam. It's just, it really is just that simple. The only thing that I could have done to probably make this more complicated is they have one pattern that has this side piece, but it also has this side piece, and that could have made it a little more complicated. But I think this rainbow swirl running through it is absolutely gorgeous. And there is the back, which I also absolutely love the fact that the teacups point to either side. It came out just the way I wanted it to. I'm really pleased. I want to do so many more of these. Now that I've done this size, I can make this longer or shorter. I've seen some that are just this, which they use as placemats, although I honestly think this is a weird placemat. I think it's a cool concept for decoration, but as an actual placemat, I don't know. Because when I think placemat, I think putting a plate here. I don't know. But I do like it as decoration. But anyway, I would make this over and over and over and over again for gifts. This does not have to take forever. They're half circles with the tulle. And the tulle did really well. That stuff that I put on, it did exactly what I thought. It picked up every single piece of fuzz, but you can still see right through it, and it doesn't move. So I'm good with that. I mean, it's not the cutest thing in the world, but it doesn't move. So That's what I need from it. All right, everybody, we are all finished with this video, and